we go. Thomas. I'm Tony Rodriguez.
Hey, Tony Rodriguez.
And
I'm Mark Ridley-Thomas.
Nice to meet you. Been looking forward to meeting you for a while. We're from San Diego. I'm currently homeless down there. I've been on the streets for 4 years. We've seen that you guys have had some success, and I was just wondering, how did you get this to happen here?
Well, it became unavoidable.
Yeah.
And it kept pressing itself on us in a way that was completely undeniable. And averting our eyes was no longer doable or acceptable. We had to come to grips with the fact that those who are homeless have names and faces and biographies. So while it became increasingly massive, it became profoundly real and urgently human for us to intervene in some way as a statement about who we are as a people in this region.
Yes, you're right. Yes. I know you have these 5 points of a plan. And can you tell me a little bit about that plan, how it came to be?
It's a big plan. 47 strategies. We adopted those strategies approximately a year ago. Actually, it was February of 2016, after several months of planning and deliberating with subject matter experts, with nonprofit organizations, with providers of a variety of sorts, with various public agencies, hundreds and hundreds of people, 9 different summits, and we kept moving through that process. We refined it and ultimately got it to a place where it was ready for the board's adoption. We call it the Homeless Initiative. It operated out of the office of the Chief Executive Officer. The board said, this is it, we get it, and we need to act. It led to the Board of Supervisors here in LA County allocating $100 million to begin the implementation process for those 47 initiatives. I should say at the same time, the city of Los Angeles adopted its plan the same day, and so we were designed to work in tandem. That's kind of how we got on the road and driving. It's not as if there hadn't been previous attempts. It's not as if there hadn't been a lot of work over the last several decades, but the problem kept expanding. It kept manifesting itself in ways that would not retreat. And to the extent that that was the case, we knew that we had to do more.
Yeah.
In other words, we had to go big or stay at home.
And how did you sell, so to speak, this tax to the public, and what did you do to get them to vote on this in a favorable way?
Well, we went through a lot of due diligence, but I want to make it very, very clear, Tony, that the reason we are where we are today with the passage of Measure H is because of the felt need of the residents of LA County to do something, and do something real, and do something that had lasting consequences. This was not the brainchild of an elected official. A lot of credit is accorded my leadership on this matter. People will evaluate that as they deem appropriate. That isn't the thing that's most impressive to me here. What is impressive to me is this is an organically inspired result. In other words, we didn't know, really, that all the polls that had been done over the last 12 plus months would suggest that homelessness is the top tier issue in the county of Los Angeles. We did not know that. There were approximately 10 polls, 8 of those polls, Republican, Democrat, labor, business, philanthropy, nonprofit, name them, held that up. In other words, 8 of those 10 polls said the number one issue is homelessness, higher than public safety, higher than transportation, higher than health, education, and the environment.
Wow, that's interesting.
And so that's the people speaking.
Yeah.
And say what you will about elected officials, they're smart enough to know when the people speak, they need to get busy.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean that this is organically inspired. So the coalition to which you refer was a coalition of voters, conservative, liberal, business-friendly, labor-friendly, you name them. Black, white, brown, yellow, red, across the board, rich, not so rich, right? That's the coalition. And it's an interesting coalition, and it kept fueling it. So how did we get to this place? It's quite unusual. Never in the history of the county of Los Angeles, going back to the year 1902, had a revenue enhancement measure been placed on a March ballot. It's extraordinary what has been accomplished, but it is because it is organically inspired by the people of this county who have insisted that something be done on the matter of homelessness.
How did this group that you were mentioning come together to express itself?
The point at which I believe things began to focus was when the United Way and the Chamber of Commerce joined arms, locked hands for the purpose of pushing forward what they called Home for Good. And they stood up a 10K run on an annual basis, walk and run, 5 and 10, and sent out the word that anybody who concerns himself with this issue, join us. And it was at that point that I believe that the consciousness raising began to increase. And they hung in all the way to the point of creating an opportunity for Measure H in the county, which is a quarter-cent sales tax, and Measure HHH for the city of Los Angeles, which is a bond measure for the purpose of building affordable, that is, permanent supportive housing. So we really had 2 pieces here, which again is extraordinary. Add to that a third piece at the state level, a bond that's designed again for the purpose of building permanent supportive housing throughout the state of California, would move through the counties. So we have 3 layers. And it's a substantial amount in the way of resources, which means we have no excuse. We must perform. We must make a significant contribution in terms of results to restore the purpose and dignity to the lives of those who are homeless among us.
I don't have a record. I've never been on probation. I'm on probation now for sleeping on the sidewalk. How does the city of Los Angeles treat the homeless?
We're moving beyond the notion of the criminalization of those who are homeless. I think we've moved to a more enlightened level. And we think of intervention not being incarceration. But we do believe that help is needed in order for hope to be restored.
That's right.
And this is not easy work. a number of persons who are homeless have substantial challenges of a variety of sorts. And we shouldn't peg any single individual in one whole, but we have to assess who they are, and this is where case management comes into play over against what would happen in a criminal justice model. This is a social service model. This is a public health model. Qualitatively different models. And those persons who are homeless, who engage in criminal activity, that has to be addressed for what it is. But that's very different from stigmatizing, discriminating, and criminalizing people. We don't see that as being helpful. We do not see it as being successful.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Right.
It hasn't worked in San Diego. Numbers are increasing all the time. It's just, yeah. Well, I applaud you for all the work you've done. I've really gained an appreciation of politicians. You guys work really hard. I mean, a lot of foundation. You know, it takes a while for action to actually happen, but you guys are moving along at rapid speed.
Well, we are, by July 1, we really begin to roll forward with our plans. And we're in the process, as we speak, of pinning those things down. There's a lot of debate, discussion. It is not absent tension, but in fact, it's healthy, and I believe we will honor our oath to the people of this county in a way that all of us can stand tall for what we've accomplished.
That's right, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.